Today's episode is how to talk about a holiday experience. Have you ever been in a wonderful place on holidays that you wanted to share your experience with everyone, but you couldn't express everything you would feel? Well, there are some useful expressions that we can use when we have been delighted by a city. Firstly, let's suppose that you went trekking and that the view from the mountains was just stunning. This means that the view was wonderful, splendid. You ate a delicious ice cream and the waitress was informative and kind, the prices were competitive and the flavors were unusual and original. You can say that the whole experience was outstanding, which means exceptional. And finally, if you think that the whole journey has been that good, you can simply say that it was a superb journey. Today's episode is vocabulary for describing cafes and restaurants. I don't know how is it like in your city, but where I live there are several options when it comes to eating out, for every pocket and for every need. There are options for friends, families, and workmates. You can choose according to what you need. So, when it comes to choosing a place, you surely will consider things like the quality of the price, the place itself, and the service, obviously. Some restaurants, like the ones that we see on the movies, for example, are exclusive because they have luxurious and expensive items in them, and the prices of the food are not quite accessible too. These places usually offer, for example, exceptional food made from expensive and barely available ingredients, and the interior of these places are usually attractive and elegant too. Cafes nowadays have well-balanced and original interiors, and have a quite modern vibe. When it comes to the food, you can say that it's pretty good, maybe delicious, and the prices can be competitive, and the service is usually informative and kind too. Today's episode is how to make a better book review. Okay, let's suppose that you read a book and you want to recommend it, but you want to say something else than I like it because it's interesting. Well, there are several words that can help you to make an accurate and better review. If you were caught by the plot and you wanted to know what was going to happen in the following chapters, basically the entire book, then you can say that the plot was gripping. It can also happen that you have favorite characters. Maybe because the context in which they live is pretty similar to the context you're living. Maybe you can easily understand the reasons why they do certain things, and probably you think that you will do the same. So then you can say the characters were so relatable. This means that you put yourself in their shoes and understood that you would probably do or think the same they did. Now, let's suppose that something that happened in the book made you cry, and the plot itself was unbelievably sad. Well, then you can say that the book's story was moving. It means that it awakes you some sad vibes and feelings. The opposite is saying that the story was hilarious, and that means that it made you laugh out loud. Because, well, probably it was the aim of the writer. Or maybe it was not. There are some stories that make you laugh because of the ridiculous actions that happen. Then the action will be called far-fetched. You can say this when something is so exaggerated that it turns out being unbelievable. Today's episode is character adjectives. Something that we love doing is trying to define ourselves. Yes, as you heard, for some reason we love being told that we are good persons, kind, friendly, but at the same time we don't like being told that we are selfish or a bit messy. So let's learn a bit more about adjectives, just in case you want to use it with someone you know, or maybe, who knows, with yourself. Are you a person who is always willing to listen to new ideas? Are you always craving for opinions and ways of seeing things from a different perspective than yours? Well, let me tell you that you are an open minded person. The opposite is being narrow minded. Do you have friends who are always busy with their own stuff that they don't even care of anything else than their own well-being? So they are self-centered. And finally, are you always losing things? Well, like me, you are absent-minded. Today's episode is how to talk about a job. We all have to study and then work because it's what we are meant to do in this society. So, when someone asks us how our job is like, how shall we answer? Apart from saying that the salary is good, there are several aspects on what to say about your job. You can obviously say that the workplace vibe is friendly or even competitive and toxic, or that you work so many hours and the payment is low. But now, let's focus in how a job is. Let's try to describe a job itself, not the workplace or the amount of money you earn. Okay, let's imagine this. You're working in a non-governmental organization and you're really proud of what you're achieving, or you are really convinced that the mission and the vision of your organization are making a positive impact in the world. Well, you can say that your job is rewarding because you are doing something that you consider really appealing and satisfying, in the sense that you consider that you're acting well and you feel good when you do it. Now, let's suppose that you work too much hours per day and your job doesn't end when the 8 hours are over, but some of your obligations continue in your house. For example, you have to be always on the phone answering messages and finishing what you didn't finish in your office. In this case, you can say that your job is demanding. Today's episode is how to interrupt someone. Being educated is something really important. Most of the times, if we want to get a nice relationship with the people around us, we need to be respectful and sensible. Otherwise, we are going to get the same we give aggressiveness and an awful atmosphere. So, do you want to talk with someone, mostly in a work environment, but you don't know if they are available in that moment? Well, before you start telling someone what you need, you have to ask if that person is able to listen to you in that moment, or if you have to wait until the person is available later. So, first, you can say, sorry to disturb you, and then say, is this a good time? And the person, your boss or a workmate, is probably going to tell you, sorry, but it's not a good time, maybe later. It's not a good moment. It will be appropriate if you answer, don't worry, it can wait. If you're lucky and your boss can listen to you in that moment, she or he may answer, yes, of course. What can I do for you? Today's episode is how to say sorry. How many times have you messed it up when it comes to relationships? We are imperfect, and therefore we make thousands of mistakes. And it's quite normal. You shouldn't make a fuss of that. But anyway, we all know what we have to do if we hurt someone. Let's suppose that you say something that offended someone you love, and now you feel terrible. Well, it's a good chance to say sorry. There are some ways of doing it. You told your friend something that you completely regret. You can say that you didn't mean to do it, or that you shouldn't have lost your temper the way you did. Another example is if you discuss it with someone and you said words that you shouldn't have said, and you didn't put yourself in the shoes of the person you talked with. Maybe you want to say that you are sorry for not being more sympathetic. Today's episode is how to keep the conversation going. Have you ever gotten stuck while speaking in English? Like you were practicing speaking in your English class or just doing a book speaking exercise and suddenly you didn't know how to keep on speaking. Maybe you were nervous and you forgot the word you were going to say. Maybe you were talking and you simply got distracted or you didn't know what to answer because the question was difficult. Well, don't worry, this shouldn't happen again because there are some simple expressions and words that you can use in these moments. If your aim is to give yourself time to think because the question is difficult, or you need time in order not to mess it up and answer correctly, you can use these expressions. Let's see an example. Imagine that I have been asked what has changed in my city in the last 5 years. Well, then I could say I have never really thought about that, which will be true, and add other expression like let me think. This is in order to make time. Now, let's suppose that you lost the plot while speaking, or you're not expressing yourself really well. In this case, you can say something like, well, that's not exactly what I mean, or I think I'm not expressing myself really well. What I meant was, and then finish the sentence. Another expression that I extremely love and use all the time is, what's the word? It's basically used when you're describing something and you forgot the specific word you were going to say. In these cases, you can say, what's the word? And if the word doesn't pop into your mind, you can just paraphrase. You don't stop talking, and even if you don't remember the word, the person will understand what you were trying to say. Today's episode is useful phrases to express your opinion. Have you ever had a discussion in English? Well, even if you haven't, you should know how to express your opinion in a polite way, without offending anyone and clarifying your position successfully. If you're talking with someone and suddenly you need time to think because the question is tricky, or you simply don't want to mess it up, you can say, I have never really thought about that. Let me think. This simply gives you time until you reach a decision on what to answer. Moreover, if the person is clearly misunderstanding what you're saying, you can say, no, that's not what I meant, and then say, what I meant was, and finish the sentence. Now, let's suppose that you have been asked something and this time you know exactly what to say, and it's exactly the opposite the person thinks. Then you can say, fair enough, which means that you respect the person's opinion, and then say, but I still think that, and tell them your opinion on the topic. Today's episode is ways of exaggerating. Who doesn't love being exaggerated and dramatic? It's extremely satisfying to be able to be as dramatic in English as in your native language. As you know, there are several situations and occasions when people can exaggerate about how they feel or what they think. In everyday life, we rarely often say things calmly or pacifically. Giving emphasis to the things we feel or think can also be done in this beautiful language. Well, remember these expressions that we can use in our everyday life. You're in the beach. The sun is hitting you hard and it's extremely hot. Don't say that you are thirsty. Say that you are dying for a drink. Another example. You're in a restaurant and you're waiting impatiently for the food because you're hungry. No, you're not hungry. You're starving. And finally, you passed an exam without studying or studying just 1 hour the day before. In this case, you're not happy. You are over the moon. Today's episode is how to say that you are surprised. In our everyday life, a lot of situations take place, and while some of them pass without getting our attention, there are others that simply make us be shocked. Let's think together about situations that make you lose your temper, or maybe made you happy, but in a really unusual, intense, and from a sudden way. I can remember, for example, the day that I got a scholarship. In that case, even when I was extremely happy, of course, I was just shocked, because in a way, I had been working extremely hard to gain that prize, but it took me by surprise. I mean, I was happy because it was something that I had been practically expecting for a lot of time in this case, and also surprised because I thought that someone else was going to win it. Now, I also remember, for example, when a relative was not fired from his job. In that case, I was genuinely surprised because no one would expect that, in the sense that his workplace was basically meant to be out of business, and we all expect it to happen. But no, it didn't happen, and he could keep on working there and not getting fired. We were all surprised. Let's think of other occasions that would deserve surprise. Have your aunt won the lottery? Well, you surely were really happy for her, but at the same time, you must have been shocked. The correct expression for you is you must be shocking. That's fantastic news. It was hard to believe, wasn't it? Now, let's suppose that you are surprised, but not necessarily in the good way. For example, you recommended a friend of yours not going to a concert or not doing something. For example, you told her not to quit her job, but she did it anyway and now she accepts that it was a big mistake. Well, you can tell her, why on earth didn't you listen to me?
Well, both photos show people in different type of holidays. The first one shows a woman in a place where there are mountains and a river. Um, for the way that she's sitting and the casual clothes that she's wearing, I guess that it's the kind of holiday that you wake up at any hour. You just don't have schedules to follow. You're just there to enjoy your holidays, your free days, and relaxing and chilling out to escape the routine. I mean, and the second photo shows a woman in a museum. I guess that is a classical museum, not a modern one. And I guess that she's maybe there because she's studying arts in college and she wants to increase her knowledge on arts, or maybe she's just the artistic type of person who enjoys going to museums and painting and that kind of things. I mean, both holidays are enjoyable, and I think that first the woman in the first photo just wants to relax, while the second photo shows a woman that maybe wants to you know increase her knowledge or maybe just enjoy these kind of things. Well, both photos show families. The first one shows a family of a single mom and three little children. They seem to be the same age. And the second photo shows a family of only one child. So I guess that in the first photo, growing with siblings has both disadvantages and advantages, because I don't know, I think that you will be more sociable because you learn how to share things, uh, not only clothes and money, but moments and advice. I think that it's great to have someone to talk with apart from your parents. But at the same time, for example, being an only child, like in the second photo, has some advantages too, because you have all the attention and love and money for you, but at the same time you grow up a bit lonely, maybe because not having someone to share moments with apart from your parents might be something not really good. I don't know. I think that yeah, I think that I would prefer to have siblings than being an only child. Both photos show people in different work situations. The first one shows a woman with a laptop working from her house, while the second photo shows several people discussing. So I guess that the woman in the first photo might be slightly stressed. Maybe she has to finish a project uh, as soon as possible, so she's drinking coffee to gain some energy. So she might feel a bit stressed out, maybe. While the second photo shows people who are discussing something, um, I guess that maybe they have to reach a solution. Maybe they need to increase their sales, or they are just discussing to reach a decision about marketing stuff or something like that. So I don't think that they are stressed, but they are sorry. They might be like worried, but at the same time excited to share ideas and to reach a decision together. Photos show different work environments. The first one shows, the typical workmates meeting when you discuss, like the results of of something or marketing stuff. While the second photo shows a woman with a laptop. I think that she's chilling out a bit too because she's drinking something and she's in her house. So I guess that I would prefer to work like the woman in the second photo, like she seems to be working, she seems to be a freelancer or maybe just working in her own projects. But I think that it's a way of working that gives you freedom, like the freedom to choose your own schedules. And when you work like in the first photo in an enterprise or something, you have to follow a schedule and have to travel to the place. So yeah, I think that the second option gives you more freedom in every sense of the word. Well, both photos show different kind of places to live. The first one shows a beautiful, a wonderful landscape with an enormous mountain and river. There is a little cottage too, and there are trees. Well, the second photo shows like the typical big city when there are several buildings, any, or maybe it has no nature at all. Um, so I think that the people who decided to live in a place like in the first photo might be people who are tired of everyday life in big cities. Maybe they decided to leave everything behind and start a new life in contact with the nature. Um, well, the people who decided to live in a big city, like in the second photo, maybe decided that because they I don't know, they have a shop in the city center and they need to live near there, or maybe just enjoys the typical um, city lifestyle. I don't know.
Today's episode is Anna's Nightmare. When Anna opened the door, she was shocked by what she saw. A dead person was lying in her bed, and there was blood all over the floor. She couldn't believe it. First, the scratches on the curtains. Second, the bloody knife under her pillow. And now, this. She asked herself how it could be possible, and later on she started to cry. She had never been so terrified. Maybe it's just a nightmare, she thought, but her thoughts were interrupted by three loud shots coming from under her bed. Then a horrible man came from under her bed and started to laugh insanely. Before she could react, the man put his aged hands on her neck. She tried to save herself, but her attempts were in vain. The man was very strong, and in a matter of minutes she was going to die. Suddenly, everything began to be blurred, and she no longer felt pain. What is happening? She asked herself. Her doubts dissipated when she heard the alarm sound. It had all been a bad dream. Today's episode is an unexpected visit. Hi, my dear friend. How are you? I hope you're fine. Thank you so much for your email. I'm really happy to know that you have decided to come and visit me. Before you come, you should know some things about the weather in my country. In summer and in spring, it's warm and sunny, and it often rains due to the excessive heat. If you come in these seasons, you must bring light clothes, flip-flops, and of course, an umbrella. In autumn and in winter, it's cold and windy, so if you come in these seasons, you must bring warm clothes. Don't forget to bring scarves, wool hats, and gloves. In my opinion, the best time to visit my country is in summer, because you can go to a lot of beaches and enjoy a lot your stay. Well, I'm sure that you're dying to know which activities you can do in my town. There are no beaches here, but at least we have a great lagoon. You can't not sing there, but you can go fishing, have picnics, go for a walk, or ride a bike. You can also rent a horse if you want to. Without more to say, I wish you a great week. Tell me your decision as soon as possible. Love, Anna. Today's episode is An Innocent Lie. Hi, Fleur. I'm writing to you because I want to tell you a funny thing that happened yesterday. I had told you that I was going to the cinema in the night with August, an 18-year-old girl that I met last summer on the beach. It turns out that she and her family moved to our city last week, so we arranged to go to the cinema. When we were walking there, she told me that her dad had lost his job, so she had to take money from her savings and they weren't enough to pay the ticket. I told her that I could pay for her, but she said that it wasn't necessary, that she had already thought about it, and that I just should go with the flow. I just agreed. Suddenly, she took a pair of glasses, two hair ties, and a little packet with some fake freckles. Later on, she put on the glasses, the freckles, and made two ponytails. After a few minutes, I realized that she was trying to look younger. The waited moment arrived. We were queuing when she told me that she was going to ask for a child ticket because it was cheaper than the adult one. I tried to make her to come to reason, but it was in vain. She seemed to be very convinced. When our, when our turn to buy the tickets came, she asked for two child ones. Unluckily, the salesman asked for our IDs because the film that we were going to watch was for grown-ups. I would say that her mom was calling us and we ran away from the cinema. Agus and me started laughing out loud. Despite missing the film, I had a great time. Better yet, Agus and me became very good friends. See you soon, Anna. Last month, I visited a premium apartment called Don Ramon, which was located in the center of the city I visited. It has a lot of installations like air conditioners, televisions, and electric fires. It was cozy and comfortable. It has a very beautiful picture of a family painted with primary colors, and I really like it, in spite of my family not doing so. In front of the apartment, there was a big square with a lot of games where you also could run or do exercise. I have realized that this city promotes doing exercise and eating healthily because there are a lot of shops where you can buy healthy and fresh food. People should visit this apartment because it's safe, it has alarm system, it's comfortable, and it's ideal if you want to relax and do something different from the routine. What's more, the neighborhood is peaceful and there are some shops near it. Today's episode is Are you sure of that? Hello, dear Diana. I'm writing to you because I have received your letter saying that you want to move out to live on your own. I know that you don't get on with your parents, but this is not a good reason for moving out. I have known your parents since I was a child, and I know that they are extremely strict and overprotective. I also know that you are an independent girl and that you like having your own space and following your own rules. I feel strongly that your parents love you very much and that you only take them for granted. When was the last time you thanked them for something that they have done? In my view, you would better talk with them and let them know your point of view. For example, if you feel that they don't listen to you or that you don't like very much the idea of having a tight schedule for meals, you should tell them. I believe that the only way to solve a problem is by talking about it. Write back and tell me your decision. Love, Anna. Today's episode is I am a mess. Dear friend, I'm writing to you because lately I've been very forgetful. Last week I lost my house keys and I had to change the locks. And that's not all. I think I lost my cell phone because I've been looking for it but I couldn't find it. I don't remember when was the last time I saw it. Luckily, it's not the last model, so it doesn't hurt so much to have lost it. But it's not the point of this letter. I want to tell you about something that is troubling me. I have told you about my wish of being a forensic doctor, haven't I? Well, my family isn't very convinced about it. They say that I'm too inconstant and that there are too many years of study. It made me very sad. Since I was a child, I have wished of being a forensic doctor, and it's so frustrating that my family doesn't believe in me. Perhaps It's the reason why I'm losing things. I need your advice. Thanks, Anna. Today's episode is Thank You for Everything. Hi, people. I'm writing to you because I want to thank you for letting me stay with you when I was in your country. I really felt like in my own home because you were very kind to me. I really miss you a lot, and I want to tell you some things that I have done since I arrived home. I started piano lessons 1 week ago, and they are very interesting. My teacher is very funny, and she plays the piano very well. She said to me that if I play the piano a bit every day, I will be a great pianist. I'm also thinking about, I don't know, learning a new language like French or Portuguese. I would like to learn it, but I haven't got enough time. Oh, and before I forget it, I have to tell you a great fact. My brother finally found a new job. He's very happy now, and me too. Do you remember Lucy, the other girl that stayed with me in your house? Well, it turns out that she owns a famous factory where my brother had always wanted to work. When I told her that he was looking for a job, she offered him a position faster than a cock crows. I dare say that the turns of life are unpredictable. And what about you? Right back soon, Julia. Today's episode is Lots of Love, Julia. Hello, Kata. What's up? I hope you can come to visit me as soon as possible. I know that you don't like traveling, but I'm sorry. It's the only way you can come here from your country to where I live. I also know that there are 40 hours inside the plane and you're going to feel very tired when you arrive, so I would understand if you don't want to talk to me. Going back to the important topic, you can come when you want. This summer I will stay in at home. I recommend you to travel in December so we can spend Christmas and New Year together, and also I can give you some presents. I recommend you to bring t-shirts, shorts, skirts, dresses, and flip-flops because it will be a very hot summer. Also, don't forget trousers, shoes, and one or two jumpers in case it gets cold. If you want to, you can stay here all the summer with me and we can do a lot of things. For example, we can go sightseeing, buy souvenirs, some clothes, visit my grandparents, and try some traditional food from my country. I hope you come as soon as possible. I miss you a lot. I haven't seen you since we were like 10 years old. I love you and good trip. I hope you haven't changed. Lots of love, Julia. Today's episode is An Accident Happened. Yesterday was definitely the worst day of my life. How can a perfect day become your most feared nightmare? Let me explain how it happened to me. Everything started a week ago, when I finally passed my driving test. I was really overjoyed and I had realized that my parents were going to buy me a car for my birthday in just 1 day. So, in a matter of hours, I was going to own a new car. And better yet, I would no longer have to use public transport to go to my work. The following day, it was my birthday, and I was really happy and ready to have a great time. My friends and family came to my house, where I had my party. It was full of balloons, food, and to celebrate that I was already of legal age, my friends brought me a lot of alcohol drinks. I really liked drinking them, and I think I went over the line. In few seconds, I felt weak and I started to get sick. And then it happened. All the guests shouted up, and then my dad announced that I was going to my shop, so he invited everyone to leave the party. My father couldn't have a better idea than tell me to go to my shop in my new car. I accepted and took the keys. My view was blurred, so I couldn't see well. Unluckily for me, I passed when the traffic lights were red. My car crashed into a police car. To sum up, I passed the rest of my birthday in the shade. I was arrested for driving after drinking too much alcohol. Today's episode is An Unexpected Visit. Hi, my dear friend. How are you? I hope you're fine. Thank you so much for your email. I'm really happy to know that you have decided to come and visit me. Before you come, you should know some things about the weather in my country. In summer and in spring, it's warm and sunny, and it often rains due to the excessive heat. If you come in these seasons, you must bring light clothes, flip-flops, and of course, an umbrella. In autumn and in winter, it's cold and windy, so if you come in these seasons, you must bring warm clothes. Don't forget to bring scarves, wool hats, and gloves. In my opinion, the best time to visit my country is in summer, because you can go to a lot of beaches and enjoy a lot your stay. Well, I'm sure that you're dying to know which activities you can do in my town. There are no beaches here, but at least we have a great lagoon. You can't not swim there, but you can go fishing, have picnics, go for a walk, or ride a bike. You can also rent a horse if you want to. Without more to say, I wish you a great week. Tell me your decision as soon as possible. Love, Anna.